Hello students, I am Mrs. Divya dealing with the chapter 7 evolution, and this is the 14th video. In the previous module, we were discussing about mechanism of evolution, that is Hardy-Weinberg's mutation theory to explain how evolution took place, and we were discussing about the modern concept of evolution, which was given by different biologists, right, by combining many different concepts like Mendelism, the mutations, as well as the Darwinism. So here we are going to study about the Hardy-Weinberg principle, that is the two scientists Hardy and Weinberg who applied mathematical expressions to explain the mechanism of evolution. Okay, so let me tell you what is this Hardy-Weinberg principle. Students, it states that the allele frequencies in a population are stable and are constant from generation to generation. Okay, try to understand this. According to this law, it states that allele frequencies, you have understood what are gene frequencies or allele frequencies, right? They say that allele frequencies in a population are always stable. They are maintained stable and they remain constant from generation to generation. Got it? This is very important, children. Many of the times, if you check out the previous year question papers, in most of the question papers you find this question, state Hardy-Weinberg's law. It states that allele frequencies in a population are stable and constant from generation to generation. Did you understand? Okay. So here, and another thing you have to remember here, they suggested that gene pool also always remains constant. Now, what do you mean by this statement? Allele frequencies in a population are stable. So, from generation to generation. So, imagine, children, you have in a population now at present you have 100 individuals present. Okay. So according to Hardy-Weinberg, they say that in the future generations also, the gene pool remains the same. You know, gene pool is sum total of genes in a population. So the sum total of genes in the population. Now we are having 100 organisms in one population. So imagine those 100 organisms. For one particular character, they show 2 alleles, right? That means 100 organisms are having 100 genes. So now you are having 100 organisms. In the next generation also it will be the same, and 100 organisms will be showing 100 genes only. And they said that the allele frequency in a population is stable. That means what? Imagine in one population, the tall plants are 60% and dwarf plants are 40%. So in the next generation also, they say that the tall plants are 60% only and the dwarf plants are 40% only. It is stable. It is not going to change. And this remains constant from generation to generation. This was the law given by Hardy and Weinberg. Okay. So this is called as genetic equilibrium. So this stability, as they are telling that it is always stable in a population, this stability of allele frequencies is called genetic equilibrium, or it is also called as Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, or it is also called as Hardy-Weinberg principle. So they may ask you question, what is genetic equilibrium? So what is genetic equilibrium, students? The stability of allele frequencies in a population is called genetic equilibrium or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Okay. And sum total of all the allelic frequencies is 1. So as I told you, it is constant, they say, right? Constant means what? So they say that the sum total of all the allelic frequencies will appear to be 1. That will turn out to be a constant, and that is 1. Sum total of all allelic frequencies. Remember that. I can give you certain examples for this. Okay. So before that, let us see what are the conditions for it. So as I told you, the allele frequency remains the same. But in what condition it remains the same? When can we say it is same? So there are certain conditions for the operation of this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. The law operates only on a large sexually reproducing population. So students, this law does not prove true in smaller populations. Okay, it operates only in large populations. Got my point? For example, I can tell you, think you are having what 5 organisms. Okay, so okay, imagine there are 5 horses present, right? So in one population, now at present, among those 5 horse, 3 are white and 2 are brown in color. So what you can say that the gene frequency here, 3 are white and 2 are brown. So in the next generation, if any of those, imagine the 2 horses, they die, in the next generation what happens? Will the same frequency be present in the next generation also? No, because the white have already, all the white horses are vanished. So this principle does not work out in small populations. Consider 1000 horses present. So among 1000 horses, think 500 of them are white and 500 of them are brown, and in that imagine 2 horses die, 2 white horses die. Okay, so in the future generations, will there be any drastic changes in the number of white horses? No. Okay, so that is what told by this Hardy and Weinberg equilibrium. So the allele frequencies remain constant, though 1 or 2 may die, but that doesn't bring about any major changes in their allele frequency. Okay, so it operates in large populations, and in this population mating has to be random. This is another important condition. If only random mating is taking place, random means what? No definite pattern. Okay, so for example, think if brown horses are mating with only brown horses continuously, will there be any changes taking place? No. But if brown horse mates with a white horse, okay, and if the white horses also mate with the white horse, brown horses mate with brown horses, so random it has to take place, then only that stability can be maintained. Got my point? So this is another condition. Then evolution factors like mutation, migration and selection should not occur in the population. Okay, so evolution occurs only when the equilibrium is altered. Got my point? Factors like mutation. New mutation should take place in that population. Mutation, if mutation happens, what happens there? There will be a change. So that leads to change in the gene frequency. Migration. Migrations means what? Movement of a few organisms to somewhere different places. So we can say that even genes are migrating. Selection, natural selection. Okay, so these should not occur. If all these points are well maintained, if all these conditions are satisfied, then we can say that the gene frequency remains constant. Okay, So if this gene frequency is constant in a population, children, then what happens? Evolution cannot take place. If everything is going on in that rate only, will there be any changes? No, evolution will not take place. But imagine, does this happen in nature? Does this happen in nature? No, this is practically impossible. Okay, understand what I'm going to tell you. Hardy and Weinberg, they gave out this law or principle to understand, to make us understand the practical things. Okay, so they say that evolution mainly depends on gene frequency, right? So if gene frequency is remaining the same, then that shows that no evolution has occurred. But what continuously we are seeing that there are changes in gene frequency, right? So that means what? Evolution is occurring continuously. Okay, so that practical, they try to give that practical knowledge to the people. Okay, so practically it is not possible that mutation should not take place. Practically it is not possible that migration should not take place. Continuously organisms will be migrating from one place to other place, so their genes also are migrating, so that will lead to certain mutations. Okay, so that is happening continuously, so those things cannot be satisfied. So here the when you practically apply that law, okay, whatever the law is suggested by Hardy and Weinberg, practically if you consider that, so what formula they gave, children? P plus Q is equal to 1. Okay, that is the constant what they give. Okay, so this can be applied to any population to find out the gene frequency. Now what we have to see? We have to see whether the gene frequency is going to change or not. Now take this one example. Let us consider two alleles. One is capital A, the other one is small a, at one given locus. They are present at a given locus. Okay. So the genotypes in the population, what will be? They might be both homozygous dominant, they might be heterozygous condition, and they might be homozygous recessive. So you know that of any of the character, it shows these three variations in the alleles, right? This you know. Now let the gene frequency of A allele, dominant A allele, be P. Remember here we have that two alleles, capital A and small a, we have taken. Let the gene frequency of capital A allele, we'll take it as P. Okay, whatever might be the gene frequency, we don't know what is the gene frequency of it, we are taking it as P. Let the gene frequency of recessive allele be Q. Okay, so we are assuming this. So hence according to Hardy-Weinberg principle, what they say, P plus Q will be equal to 1, right? So the gene frequencies are constant, they are appearing to be 1. So how is that possible? We'll see. See here. When we consider a Punnett square for that, so here you have A, allele A and allele small a. So when we cross these in different combinations, that is when these gametes are being crossed, here you can see these are the variations which occur in the generation, right? So the offsprings produced, they might be having they might be present in double dose, dominant double dose, homozygous dominant condition. They might be hybrids, heterozygous condition, or homozygous recessive condition. So here as A the frequency of A is considered as P. So if the organisms are both homozygous, then that is considered, their gene frequency is considered as P square, right? And here, if they are present in heterozygous condition, 2 times such condition occurs, and that is considered as PQ, because the frequency of A is P and small a is Q. And if it is in recessive condition, the frequency of small a is Q, so Q into Q, that leads to Q square. So if you summarize them, P square plus 2PQ is plus Q square, that is equal to 1. Okay, so this is Hardy-Weinberg equation. Okay, so it shows the general relation between the gene and the genotype frequency. So what is the algebraic equation they gave for it? It is, so you know, you have studied this algebraic equation. So P plus Q whole square is equal to P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. So that is always the constant. Understood? That is the, what is the mathematical expression if they ask you, students? It is P plus Q is equal to 1, or P plus Q whole square is equal to 1. So another example I can quote you here. I can quote, consider any pea plant, for example, showing yellow and wrinkled or green seeds you take. Okay. They have given you the phenotype here. So in the parent generation, 3 possibilities might occur. They might be both dominant yellow, it might be hybrid yellow, it might be a recessive green, right? So this is the genotype of them. Now they have given you the frequency, genotypic frequency. This capital Y, that is homozygous condition of yellow, the frequency of it is 0.49. The frequency of this heterozygous condition is 0.42. The frequency of this green, that is recessive gene, is 0.09. They have given you the number of individuals. Totally there are 500 plants. Okay, totally there are 500 plants. And out of those 500 plants, 245 them are having homozygous yellow seeds. 210 are having what? Heterozygous yellow seeds. And 45 of them are having green seeds. Okay. So what is this number? This is the number of individuals. Remember. Got it? Now when you want to calculate the number of alleles in that gene pool, what here they have given you, there are 500 individuals. So 500 individuals means what? They are having 1000 alleles. Got it? 500 individuals means they are having 500 genes. You know, one gene has 2 alleles. So 500 individuals, each individual having 2 alleles. So totally how many alleles are there, students? There are 1000 alleles. So this is the gene pool. You got it? What is gene pool now? Gene pool is the sum total of all alleles in a population. So in among 500 individuals, how many alleles are there? Each one having 2 alleles. So there are 1000 alleles. Okay. So what will be the frequency of each allele now? Let us see. So capital Y, how many times capital Y may occur in this population now? These are the 3 types of possibilities. So here 2 times in homozygous condition, 2 times capital Y may occur. In heterozygous condition, only 1 time capital Y may occur. So when capital Y occurs 2 times, so what will be the number of alleles there, children? Capital Y, it will be 490 times. Why? Because see, 245 individuals show yellow color, dominant yellow color, homozygous yellow color. So homozygous yellow in the sense 2 times the allele has occurred. So 245 plus 245 we are doing. Okay, so that appears to be 490. Then here in the heterozygous condition, capital Y has occurred only once. So it is 210. Got my point? Here why we are not doubling it? Because 210 plants are showing heterozygous yellow condition. That means 210 plants, how many alleles they are having? 210 into 2 alleles. That is, they are having 420 alleles. But out of that 420 alleles, 210 are capital Y, 210 are small y. Got my point? So the frequency of capital Y is here 245 plus 245, that is 490. Here it is 210. So total it appears to be 700. So capital Y is 700. Okay. So what will be the frequency now? Total number of capital Y alleles is 700. But the total number of alleles is 1000. So the frequency of that capital Y is 700 by 1000, that is 0.7. So this 0.7, this is considered as P. There, as I told you, that example what I told you previously, that is given in your NCERT textbook. It is a bit confusing. Okay, so understand it here. Capital A, I told you, when you consider capital A as the allele, its frequency is taken as P. So here this capital Y allele, its frequency is 0.7. So that is considered as P. Hope you have understood this. Next, see here in the green colored. So here this 2 times the recessive allele small y has occurred. So 45 plus 45 we are taking, that is 90. Okay. And here capital Y is 210 and small y is 210 alleles. So 210 plus 90 we are taking. So small y, how many are there? 300. So total number of small y alleles is 300. Now what will be its frequency? 300 are small y out of total 1000 alleles. So its frequency is 0.3, that is taken as Q. Okay. So according to Hardy and Weinberg, P plus Q is equal to 1. Sum of all the allelic sum of all alleles is 1. So this P plus Q is equal to 1. 0.7 plus 0.3 is equal to 1. Okay. So here we can analyze that. When these interbreed among themselves, so what might be the probabilities, children? You may get capital Y or heterozygous condition or homozygous condition. So when you consider capital Y and capital Y homozygous dominant condition, so frequency of capital Y is considered as P, right? So here 2 capital Y are there, so P square we are taking. So P square in the sense, the frequency of 1 capital Y is 0.7. So what will be P square now? Of 2 such alleles, that will be 0.49. Then when you consider capital Y frequency of capital Y and small y, so what will be the frequency of capital Y and small y? It is 0.21. Okay. Then here what will be the frequency of small y and small y? It is 0.09. Here capital Y and small y, why it is 0.21? See, here they have given you 0.42 they have given. So make half of it. It is 0.21 because only one you are considering here, right? So here when you summate all these, P square plus 2PQ plus Q square, so that will, the constant will give you 1. So according to Hardy Weinberg, it is 1, right? So finally the answer what you get, see, 0.49, 0.42, 0.09. So this is nothing but equal to this parent generation. So what they told, the gene frequency. So this is the gene frequency in the parent generation. In the next generation also we got the same gene frequency. So they told that the gene frequency remains the same from generation to generation and it is always a constant. Hope you have understood this, children. Remember, this is very important. Hardy-Weinberg statement. They'll ask you state Hardy-Weinberg law and such these equations or problems in competitive exams it might appear. Okay, so later on when in the NEET classes I'll give you many different examples for this, but now try to understand the concept. What is Hardy-Weinberg law? Okay, so in the previous example, students, we see that the proportion of all the alleles has remained the same, right? So we can conclude that the value of P plus Q is equal to 1. So what do we infer by this, students? There is no change in the frequency, right? So here we could see that the gene frequency has not changed. That means what? According to Hardy-Weinberg, when there is no gene frequency changes, then that does not lead to evolution. So when you apply this practically, okay, in the organisms, when there are no changes in the gene frequency, then that does not lead to evolution. Is it possible, students, practically? No. That is why Hardy-Weinberg said that when this is not possible, then there is no possibility that evolution has not occurred. Okay, evolution has been taking place gradually. Okay, so what is the significance of this? So we can say that when the population is in equilibrium, there is no evolution. So we have studied this by different examples here, right? When the population is in equilibrium, when genetic equilibrium is reached, there is no evolution taking place. Evolution occurs only when equilibrium will be altered. I have told you what is genetic equilibrium, right? Change in the gene frequency leads to alteration in the genetic equilibrium. So that in turn leads to evolution. So this was the conclusion drawn by Hardy and Weinberg. Hope this is clear, students. Then let us see what are the factors which affect evolution or this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So as I told you, equilibrium is when there is constancy. But will this equilibrium always be present? No, practically there is no equilibrium. Why? Because there are certain factors which are affecting this equilibrium. Okay, so Hardy and Weinberg, they also gave out certain factors which affect this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So what are those factors, students? Gene migration or gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination, and natural selection. This is also very important. For 2 marks, they may ask you only mention the factors or explain the factors for 5 marks. Okay, so in detail we are going to discuss these factors in the next module. So thank you very much.